As you know, history repeats itself. If you look back to the 1800s on style, you can see with three-piece suits or two-piece suits, which were very, very popular back then, made a massive comeback about 5-6 years ago. Also, haircuts in the 1910s, 1900s and 1920s, quite short and refined, hard parts and slick backs were quite popular then, are now making a big comeback or have made a comeback and are evolving into something different. Scissors have been around an awful long time. The first recorded scissors has been around since 3500 BC. Then came the evolution of the scissors into the handheld clippers, which hit the market in the 1600s, and then the evolution of the handheld clippers to the electric or plug-in clippers. As we know, about 15 years ago, the men's hairdressing and barbering market exploded. Men went through a transition where they became metrosexual, where we kind of got in touch with our feminine side and we started to use products on our hair and on our skin. And then I think things got a little bit too girly for us. We felt a little bit too girly, so we kind of went through what we call the lumbersexual stage there about 6-7 years ago, where we grew beards out and they were kind of shaggy, unkept beards with disconnected haircuts. We were still looking after ourselves, so it was like a manly way of looking after ourselves. But now I think in 2017, going into 2018, men are going more for style rather than fashion and trend. They're going to tailor their own particular styles. And that's up to you as a stylist now, how you tailor your client's style. Each haircut is roughly designed around the basic haircut, but it's how you tailor that and how you style that and how you educate your client what style you can give them and how they can change that style from Monday to Sunday. Today we're here to educate you about the classic pompadour haircut. The main fundamentals of barbering or men's hairdressing is 3 steps: understanding shape, mastering technique and perfecting a system. The main shapes are square shape, round or triangle. Techniques are classic scissors-over-comb, refined scissors-over-comb, shape layering, clipper work, detailing and finishing. First, what we do is we need to separate our top section from the back and sides. We use a halo shape parting by sectioning off from the recess of the hairline straight back towards the crown. Repeat on the other side and then connecting the two at the back. And that will give us what we call a halo parting and separates our top section, which is our main pompadour section, from the back and sides. The technique we're going to use is classic scissors-over-comb. Classic scissors-over-comb is where we get our section with our scissors, always remember to keep our scissors closed, and elevating the hair directly out or parallel from the head. And working down towards the hairline. The reason for this shape is that we keep the length from the occipital bone up because it helps us create what we call a classic DA, which is very important for the perfected pompadour. The next technique we need to use now is connecting our zone 1 and zone 2. And the technique we use is refined scissors-over-comb. Refined scissors-over-comb, we use the finer end of the comb. As you can see, all this hair that's coming out from the comb I'm not taking off, I'm visually just taking the tips off. But I'm angling the teeth in on the head because that's giving that tension, that perfect tension for scissors-over-comb. It's pushing the hair out. See, as if we do it like this, we don't get as good a tension. But if we angle our teeth in, you can see the tension, the hair just popping out. Now we move on to our top section, or zone 4. This is where shape comes into it. So in our zone 4, because we're doing a classic pompadour, we're going to use the square shape. We bring all our layers up directly from the head, straight up and straight out from the sides. So that gives us a square shape. And the easiest way to do this, we put what we call a T-section in to the top. So right across the crown area, we section off, stand straight, bring the hair straight up from the head. So we cut our first section at the top, which was square, and that's going to give us our guide going forward. And the reason why we call it the T section is because we do this section horizontally from left to right, and then we use that section to give us our guide going forward. So effectively, we've just done a T. So using our section now that we just previously cut, bringing everything straight up. Again, we're cutting squares, so we want to keep it straight. There's our guide. And for the last section, which is the over direction part, very, very simply, we just bring our left elbow up. And you can see now, this is the length that we're going to keep. So this is the height of our pompadour. This is the section that we're going to use as our guide. And we cut up. Splitting it in half. Starting on the right side at the crown area. Bringing everything straight up because we're cutting square again, remember? And there's our guide from our T-section earlier on. When we simply cut that section, you just fold it back and move on to the next. Now all our zone 4 is cut down to the basic length that we want for our pompadour. And this is where our zone 3 comes in, which is connecting the top with the back and sides. As we come around to the back, we want to start rounding it. What we do is, starting from behind the ear, standing at the back. As you can see, your guide is here, and your guide from your zone 4 is there. So for the back, we want to round, so out from the round of the head. So we went from a square shape, and we dropped into a round, which gives us our perfect DA at the back. So now we need to add some texture to the hair, because that texture is going to support the longer hair, so that's going to give us that lift. So when we blow dry the pompadour, so to get that height in it, we need that texture to support the longer hair so we can build that hair up. And the best way I find for this is using our feather blade or using our cutthroat blade, depending on what you prefer. And there's no kind of real right and wrong on this technique. It's when you feel you've enough texture put in, is when you stop. Then we do our detailing, which is just refining the outer area of the haircut. And we're using an anchor, pivot and suspend technique. So we anchor it in, we pivot it, and we suspend it out. And that helps us blend the hair in. It's up to you how you want to finish this. Some people might simply just scissors cut finish, detail it out around the ears. Some people might want to go in with a 0 fade. Some people might want to go in with a number 4. This finish is entirely up to you. So what we're doing here is we're going to use our classic clipper over comb. It's the same as our classic scissor over comb, but we're just refining all in around the exterior of the hair, showing off a bit of scalp. There's no point in doing a fantastic haircut and your finish or your blow dry isn't up to scratch. There's a couple of techniques that we use when blow drying. We use what we call a flat brush for our wrap drying. You can also use your round brush as well if you wish. The techniques we use to flatten the hair, we use all of our brush and we flatten the sides right out, followed through by our hairdryer.